Here we are with the Royal Enfield Classic 350, and I went and got the little ammo box, and I ended up getting this on eBay from someone called Royal Rider, and so far I'm not very impressed. It is a little bit dirty. I mean, it's not a big deal. You can clean it up, but I mean, all the hardware is there, and it does work. And I will. The instructions are. You can see they're microscopic. I'll give you a close-up on there. It might look a little bit bigger, and when we zoom this up, you're looking on a TV. But there's your instructions right there. I will go over a step-by-step on this. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to clean up these parts. I mean, they are painted except for this one, which is just looks like some regular scrap steel that they had and whipped together and just not finished well at all. And that goes, I'm pretty certain that goes on the inside of the box. And the outside is just the brackets. I don't think that goes on the outside because it doesn't quite fit as well from the outside. So I'm pretty sure that goes on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead, and even has a little bit of a few burrs on. I'm going to deburr that, clean it, and I'm actually going to spray that flat black, get that ready to go. And once I'm at that stage, then we'll go over the actual assembly. Okay, upon further inspection, I found that was actually just like kind of a plastic wrap that was on the outside. That's why it kind of looked kind of dingy like that. It was actually it's actually pretty nice steel. It was just something I covered. It did have a slight burr on there, so I did hit it with the burrs, but I think my initial reaction was a little harsh. So all in all the parts are there. It seems to be pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and do a trial run of putting this together so I can explain this easier. And here's my dog to assist. Okay, I moved in side here because it was just very humid out there and uncomfortable, and I wanted to just look at everything I had. So I went and just cleaned everything up, quick with some alcohol and just wiped things down. And it does now, looking at everything, it does seem to be, everything's here, everything does look good. So I did get this from that Royal Rider on eBay, and that was about $100. Delivered about maybe $105, and that came about 5 days, so it came in really quick. So if I went through the dealer, it probably would have cost me $200 and took a couple of weeks. But I do have an assessment of what we have. So this is what this is what you're going to want to have. And you're going to need to first put the bracketry together with the actual box, and you're going to need a 4mm Allen wrench to do that. And what you're going to do with these rubber pieces is those are going to go on over this bar, and you're going to want them face down. So this would be the facing down on the bike. This would be the top facing up, and you want those slots facing up. And this bracket right here is going to go on the inside of the box, and you'll see the holes line up there on that. Let me pick that up so you can see it. Kind of hard doing this with one hand, but those are the holes right there. Now in those holes, you're going to have these little flanges right here. Those are going to be on this side. Put that up. So those will be on this side, and those will go in there. So your short ones will go here, and the bigger ones will go down here, like that. So you'll have the 2 larger ones and the 4 smaller ones there. You'll have the bracket on the inside, and the screws will go from the inside. These 4 screws are going to go in from the inside, those 4 small ones and the 2 large ones, and they're going to run through this bracket, actually facing this way. So if you can see that, it's actually going to be facing on, let me get a little better angle there. So it's going to be facing like this. You would think it would be that way, but it's actually this way. You want those flat this way. And what's going to happen is those will press up against here, the rubber portion on this. And you'll have this go along the outside of the other one. And the screws will just go through there, and it's threaded in there, so that just screws in, and that'll bolt those brackets on. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, so I don't need two hands to do it. And when it's all said and done, I'll show you closely how this all went together. Okay, so here we are all together, and we can see the brackets, how they're resting on those rubber stoppers. You can see how it rests on the curve over there. So you want to position that, and you want to see how you have that clamp there, and you have the rubber piece in between. And then you have, like I said, the other bracket sticking out that side. And on the inside is the bracket, the large bracket, and then you can see that's where you're screwing those in. So now let's go back out to the bike and hook that up. Okay, back in the garage. Now that we're here, we got the brackets on. Here's another look at the brackets and the spaces and how that's all supposed to go on there. You can see this piece right here. We're going to be installing this on the bike. And what I did was, right over here in this section, you have this little cap here. You can just kind of pry underneath there and just take that off and set that aside. And you're going to need a 12mm socket, and then we'll just remove that. And what's going to go in its place is an actual piece right here as a spacer with the longer bolt that was supplied. Okay, just an update. The bolt is out, and I said it was a 12mm. When trying to start it, that didn't quite work. So I ended up using, I'll show you on here, there's a 15/32. That is the one that fits that. So I don't know, maybe because it's coming to the United States, but the 15/32 fit perfectly. The 12mm is not something you want to use. That was the 12mm. So that's the 12mm. You don't want to use that. Well, at least on my bike you don't. So we'll see how I'm gonna swap back and forth and see on this new bolt. You can see that the bolt they provide with a washer is actually quite bigger. And there's a spacer that they provide too. That spacer is going to go in here. So that's going to fit right in there, take up the space, give you a flush surface to mount on right here. And that long bolt is going to go through there and tighten up. And there's nothing on the other side, so there's just a threaded shaft on the inside. So we'll see how this goes back in. Okay, we have that bottom bolt and the top bolt on, and those are both 13mm for me. So again, it was 15/32 taking them off. That's what worked. 12mm did not work, and this is a 13mm going on, so both top and the bottom. And you want to get them good and tight, but I wouldn't put too much pressure on these Indian bolts. But it's good enough that it's not going anywhere, and you're not really holding that much. So let me zoom out and give you a little bit of the scale. It's not a very large bag. It actually comes up just to the tip of the fender. See whether you can actually see the fender kind of go up above it just a little bit. So it is kind of small. So you got you can still see the rest of your tire on your fender. You can still see the front of your shock right there. It does make it over your exhaust with about an inch to spare. As far as sticking out, you have plenty of clearance there, so you can get in and clean it. And you can see how it just kind of runs right alongside the exhaust. So if you take a look, we zoom out here this way, and let me take a look from the front to see if that actually makes it past the engine guard. So let's take a look right here. No, actually it doesn't. It's actually in from the, it's deceiving on this camera to pick that up, but you're in a couple of inches from that engine guard. So I think it looks pretty cool. That's the only thing offered from Royal Enfield right now is for a bag. I mean, I'll keep a lookout for new things that come out. But it's cool. It's a little ammo box from, from the era of, don't mind the mess in my garage. I've been busy with my Royal Enfield and I haven't got around to cleaning it. But, I mean, it's good. It's nice to have something so I can bring, like me, I like to bring some cleaning supplies. You can definitely put a few bottles of water in there, a couple of sandwiches, maybe some, so like a poncho, stuff like that. If you get caught in the rain, you could definitely put like a, tire repair kit, a little flashlight, first aid kit too. I mean, you can see like my hands aren't huge, so that's about the size you're talking about. I don't know, I could get a tape measure and measure this up, but you're roughly about 6 inches this way. I'd say a little over a foot maybe this way, or about a foot this way. And I'd say maybe about 15, 16 inches on the length. So it is quite deep, and they do give you another key that looks just like your key, but what I like about it is that they didn't put anything in there so you can't tell the difference, but you can tell this is a Royal Enfield product. This is a little difficult to do with one hand here, so hold on 1 second. There we go. So it does have like a little spring mechanism, and it comes up. You can see there's a little tiny hole there on the bottom, so if you didn't have this closed or some water got in there, it's going to drain out the bottom, so you don't got to worry about that. But you can see it's, you know, it's quite deep, you know, definitely over a foot deep. So you can, you know, if you stack it in there nice, you can put quite a bit of stuff in there and still have room on the top here if you wanted to pick up some, like again, some sandwiches, some drinks and stuff like that. Bring it home, bring something to work. Yeah, it's good. I like it. I mean, we'll see how it is. I don't think there's going to be, and again, when you close it, you have to turn the key. You have to turn the key, close it, and then turn the key and pull it out. But that's good because you won't be able to lock your keys in there. You need the key to actually close it and lock it. So that's actually pretty nice that way. Let's give you an overall shot of the bag on the bike. And I think it looks pretty good. Definitely in person, I think it looks better than on the shots that you get on a camera. I don't think the camera really pulls up how things appear when you're standing right in front of it. But it looks good. It's a little ammo crate, and that's definitely going to do the job for now. For $100, I can't complain. I'm definitely able to store some stuff, and we'll see what, you know, this bike is brand new and they just came out to the United States, so we'll see once this gets out there. There'll be all kinds of different things that you can put on the bike. So there you go. There is the ammo box, or the saddlebag, pannier, whatever you want to call it. It's like the little ammo box. But that's how you put it on. And until the next one, ride safe.